Pisces and the Taurus, what y'all doing? Figuring out how to build a kingdom? Because that's what y'all could do. If y'all could put all of the other stuff to the side, not all of it, but focus on building the kingdom, you can do it. And I say that because Pisces, you could be Taurus's corporate friend. Taurus, Pisces can be your... I said that backwards. No, I said that right. Taurus, Pisces could be your corporate friend. And Pisces, Taurus can assist you in the community and the area of community, right? So you put corporation and community together, what do you have? You have a kingdom. But anyway, let's get into it, right? Where's the sun at? Where's the concentration and the focus for the two of you? Where are the lights turned on that even if you don't see it, everybody else will see, but you will be focused and concentrated on it if you have your head buried down into it, so you'll be able to do so. And that is in the sign of Virgo. Virgo's expression is meticulous. It is attentive. It pays attention to detail. It sees the small things. It'll even nitpick at those small things. It wants things to run better than it can. It wants the machine to run well oiled. And if that means moving some things around, moving you around, moving other players around, telling people about themselves, correcting people when they're wrong, being rational, this is the season for that. This is the time for that. So this is where both of your focus and concentration is at. However, extensive to that is because y'all are different signs, y'all have Virgo in different houses. And this is what is going to make the difference between Virgo just being an expression, right? So for Pisces, it's in the 7th house. For Taurus, it's in the 5th house. So if you ever noticed, y'all, you Tauruses and Pisces out there, like Tauruses can laugh and giggle when Pisces is being serious about the two of you. Like y'all could be having a discussion about the relationship and Pisces is serious. You could tell that they're serious about it. And then the Taurus will just start laughing and shit, right? And they might even say "oh," and Pisces might be like, "Don't fucking awe me." You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not a fucking charity case. You know what I'm saying? It might be one of those, and it's just like, So, and this is not something that you should be overheated about, Pisces. It's just something that happens naturally between y'all two because of what I'm explaining right now. Taurus is in the 5th house. Sun is in the 5th house for Taurus, and it's in the 7th house for you. So you're more focused on serious relationship at this time, Pisces, and Taurus is trying to have fun. You know what I mean? They're concentrated and focused on having fun. Their children, if they have children, gambling a bit, being speculative about matters that deal with money. They might be ready to take a risk, take a chance on something. And this is probably something that you will catch wind of, Pisces, and you might want to have some input or some say-so into that because you're focused on the relationship. You know what I mean? You might tell them, whoa, pump the brakes, do some more research on that first, which Taurus is probably going to do 9 times out of 10 anyway because they're a money sign. You know what I mean? So, but Pisces, it would be at least nice if you knew about it, right? Because if this is something that you had to find out after the effect, then this could, cause some disruptions in your relationship, You can be analytical and you can be discriminative about this type of behavior. But all in all, just know this, Pisces. The Taurus is going to be looking to have some fun. So they might even be taking the risk. They might be gambling for the simple fact that they want to have more fun. And life has just been too harsh and too mundane to the point where it's making them feel this way that, won't nothing change unless something changes. And it's rare. This is where you got to pay attention to, Pisces, because it's rare that Taurus feels that way. A lot of the times they're set in their ways, especially their comfort zones, and taking risks is not their favorite thing to do. They like things the way that they are, and they don't like things to change. They're resistant to change. So if they're in this energy of wanting to take a gamble and take a risk, maybe you should encourage them. Especially if you see and you notice things about your Taurus significant other that you don't necessarily think is best for them. You may be vocal about it, you may not be. I don't know how deep your relationship go, but if you're not vocal about it and you see it happening on its own, even better, right? You didn't have to pull their coat about it to make you the bad guy. They're seeing it on their own and they're like, oh, let me take this leap. You know what I mean? And if it fails, you don't get the blame. You know what I'm saying? Taurus, pay attention though, because your Pisces significant other, your lover, is going to be looking at you during this entire time. All right, with an analytical eye, maybe even doing some research on you and just be like, you might even catch them looking at you like, yo, what you staring at? Like, you good? Like, and it just might be like, nah, I'm just admiring your beauty, your booty, and all that. You know what I mean? Like, for real, for real. And it doesn't have to get argumentative and stuff like that, but you might see yourself finding things out. Well, you might see your Pisces finding things out about the two of you together that they may feel needs some cleaning up, some correcting. And again, Taurus, you're fixed. You may think everything is all good. Nothing needs changing. What are you talking about? But this Virgo energy can convince you otherwise. Like, there is some spillage around here. There is some messes around here that could be cleaning up. Because Virgo's like a cleanup sign. You understand what I'm saying? It's like, oh, y'all want to be this. Y'all want to do this, that, and the third. Well, I'm clinical, baby. I'm clean. You see the gloves on my hand. You see the masks on my face. Like, so we got to clean this up in order for this ship to be tighter. You know what I mean? So that's the energy that's in the air right now. And I believe, and this is just a natural, I would say physics, that Pisces is more comfortable in this energy because it's mutable. Virgo and Pisces is mutable. Taurus, you might have the challenge of being like, yo, what? Everything's good. Just relax, boy. Like, we got this. Just calm down, But you're not beneath it. Like, you're not above this energy either, because you're experiencing Virgo energy as well. You're just more laxed about it. You're more jovial about it. It's fun to you to even look at something and joke about it, and see an error in something, and you just joke about it instead of taking it so serious. And you might see it as a fleeting time. Like, this time shall pass. You know what I mean? If somebody's distraught about something, don't trip. This time shall pass. You know what I'm saying? But ain't nothing gonna change around here. Like, you kidding me? It might be one of those for the Taurus. So both of y'all just be aware of that. Now let's get to the communication level, right? Because Mercury rules over communicating, it rules over learning, rules over learning style. So things can, again, it's like a mutable energy. Things learn to change based upon what you learn when speaking to other people. This deals with ideas too, like how ideal are you thinking? What are your thoughts about? So with Mercury being in the sign of Virgo, it's home. It's comfortable here, and it's going to enhance the capability of paying attention to detail and seeing what it is that should be changed. Now, it's in the 5th house for Taurus, and it's in the 7th house for Pisces. So again, the same rules apply. It might be funny to Taurus. It might be fun to even talk about it because Mercury is there. You might start talking about it. Oh, okay, let's talk about it. You want to talk? Let's talk about it. I'll hear you out. And still laugh at it, right? Pisces, on the other hand, might be serious. Like, yo, for real. Like, we trying to do this, right? X, Y, and Z. So let's combine your fixed energy with my ability to adapt with this Virgo energy and make a few changes, Just a few. It's like the wings on the back of cars and stuff, right? And you angle them at a certain degree and it's supposed to make the car go, well, it does. The aerodynamics, it makes the car go fast. I think I said that right. Car lovers get in the comment section, but it makes the car glide in a different type of way, right? So that's basically what Pisces is trying to say to you right now. Taurus is like, yo, let's do a few tweaks so that we can get to gliding out here. You know what I mean? And it's going to be relative to these houses, the 7th and the 10th. Now, the 7th and the 5th, excuse me. This planet goes retrograde during the 10th of September. But before that, it's going to switch signs. So for Pisces, it's going to switch to Libra, which is the 8th house for Pisces. And for Taurus, it's going to switch from the 5th house to the 6th house. Now, for Taurus, this may be a precursor of a beginning in the 5th house of Virgo, because you may not even realize that what you're doing when you're trying to take these risks and gamble is you're planning for something to set you up for something in addition to what it is that you already do routinely. And you'll feel it even more once Mercury enters the sign of Libra, because it'll be in your 6th house of routine. It might be your workplace where you work at and your work environment, and you may get back to there and you might be like, not Monday again. Oh my goodness, Monday again. And you might just be working like, you know what, that thing gonna work out though. That risk that I took is gonna work out. Watch, things gonna change around here. And if it does start being beneficial to you, you can notice the pep in your step when you're at work. You might even tell yourself, you know what, I can fathom this now. I could stomach this. I can do this for another 20 checks at least before I leave and do my other thing full time. You know what I mean? Now, you may consciously do this, you may not, because it precedes this arena. But should you do that and it works effectively, you can actually learn, right? Mercury, learn how planning to take a risk, make a calculative decision outside of your comfort zone can bring you more harmony and peace, because Libra is the sign of harmony, right? So if things start to pan out and work better for you, you'll see how that is. Now, should your investment take a turn for the worse, it's still a learning experience, and you might tell yourself, you see, this is why I don't go outside my comfort zone. This is why I don't do outside what I do, because I was right. You know what I'm saying? This is why I be stubborn, because I know me, and I would have still had my money had I not took that risk. But life is a gamble in general, so it's something for you to think about, something for you to nevertheless experience, and not be too hard on yourself about this stuff. You know what I mean? And you can actually see, I think it would be beneficial for you if you were to take that type of risk, Taurus. And I say that because Virgo is the sign that precedes Libra, and at the same time, when Mercury goes into the 6th house, although the sign Libra is there, it's still a Virgo house, So it's kind of like the Virgo house is waiting for the Virgo energy to be expressed, and the result of that Virgo energy being expressed to fall into their house that they naturally rule over, to show you something like, look, you see, you planned, you moved, you made a decision, and now here goes the result. And who knows, like, you can invest in a hobby, you know what I'm saying? And that starts to take off and make you some money. Next thing you know, people are asking you for stuff that you was doing on the side. You know what I mean? I'd recommend it, Go small if you're too afraid to like break the bank, you know what I mean? And you just can't feel broke. I know how that is, So just go small. You definitely are great at finding bargains and stuff like that, Taurus. So you can do that. You can find a spot that costs the least amount of money to get what it is that you need, your tools and stuff like that, or whatever you need for your service, and still get the quality stuff that you need in order to do it to a qualitative level, because you pride yourself in quality as well. So, well, I would hope you do. Sometimes y'all get too thrifty and then y'all start buying knockoffs and shit like that. Like, knock it off, cut it out. That's not y'all, B. Like, get to the quality, get to the silk, get to the threads, B. Get to the don't stop the 28th Street shit. Anyway, now Pisces, again, you're going to be critical, analytical, paying attention to the detail of the relationship, right? And it might go outside of your immediate relationship with your Taurus. It might go to these other partners and, partnerships that you got going on out in the world. And it might be because it's relative to your relationship, right? Like, maybe I want more out of this whole being in cahoots with y'all, and I don't see my return. Like, I don't see how this is benefiting me to the point where I should still be locking arms with y'all. Something might got to change in that area, because you might want to do something more with your love or your significant other, Taurus, It could be like that. So they ain't far from being on the chopping block either, or being assessed to see where it is that can be changed. This is the cleanup sign, right? Now, when it merges into the 7th house, in the 8th house for you, this goes into the house of secrets. This is when you're going to be grabbing your Taurus and really talking to them about deeper things, deeper level stuff, things that are relative to big money. When I say big money, I mean the area of other people's money, right? It deals with the mortgages, the finances that are relative to insurance, playing the long game perhaps. Insurance that deals with life insurance, insurance that deals with car insurance, home insurance, all of you name it, you know what I mean? But some of like the tougher things, the taxes, things of that nature. Are you looking into these things with the Taurus? Because you could really get harmonious when you talk to a Taurus about this type of money thing. They can confide in you and them being together to make something that is better than what they do routinely. And I'm saying this only for the Tauruses that are doing some type of work routinely that they don't necessarily like, but they're doing because they feel like they have to, or it keeps them afloat, or it's easy. it's like an easy buck, so they do it, but they know that they're worth more type thing. This is where y'all can really get together in the harmonious, balanced sign of Libra and really put something together and say, oh, we could get this type of tax break if we did this, and we could did that, and da. And I say this more along the lines for the two of y'all because, again, the 11th house of Pisces is Taurus's corporate friend. So Pisces, you will be Taurus's corporate friend, or you can be, should y'all take it to that level. Pisces, Taurus is your community asset. How can you be better in a community? How can you strengthen the community? And there's strength in numbers. So if y'all can make something community based that deals with these type of finances and things of that nature, you can see how y'all can excel in life and get more of the things that y'all want out of it. Now when it goes retrograde Mercury, y'all will be able to figure out what these things are better, because you'll have the time to reflect on it. You'll be internalizing and you'll be able to detect how you feel about what has happened in these areas of life already, right? Not so much of the external part of it, but how did the external results make you feel? How's the resonance, right? Frequency has a lot to deal with the retrogrades. How does it resonate with you? Does it impact you negatively? Do you feel harmed by the actions that are taken in these houses? Because when you talk about houses, you always want to look at the result of the house. And if you're not satisfied with the result of the house, then you got to check the intent over. You got to go over the intent again, which is the house, right? So for Pisces, the intent, when we're talking about Libra now, is going to be the 8th house. Better sex, more sex, maybe not, just maybe psychological, tapping into each other's brain to reach that level. You know what I'm saying? To transform the relationship, but maybe sex. I'm not saying to leave sex out of it, but that. And how does it make you feel, Pisces, when it comes to those areas, right? And if it's not to your satisfaction, you want to go over those intents of what the 8th house is all about so you can get better results. Taurus, for you, it's going to be along the lines of the 6th house, right? How does it make you feel when you come home from work? What's the resonance? What could be added or taken away in order for you to feel more harmonious? You understand what I'm saying? And that's what y'all should be looking at right now when it comes to Mercury. So let's get to the planet Venus. Venus is in the 6th house of Leo for Pisces, and it will be going into the 7th house of Virgo come September 6th. Venus is in the 4th house for Taurus and Leo, and it will go into the 5th house of Virgo on that same date, September 6th. So the routine for Pisces here is health-based. It's about the work environment as well. So they may be wanting to invest in their own hobbies and occupations. They might even get themselves a pet to make them feel better. I don't know, but mental health is part of health. I think people gloss over that sometimes. And so it could start with comfort foods, because the 6th house rules over that type of stuff. Foods that elicit bodily responses, so it's like mood foods. If this food, you can eat a particular food, make you feel heavy and drowsy, it might impact your life negatively, especially when it comes to the 6th house. If it makes you inaccurate in your projections or your predictions or whatever it is that you planned, you're going to pick up on that and you're going to say, no, I got to change that. So Pisces may be in that mode of figuring out what's better for their diet and what they're spending on, and if they're eating outside too much when they could really do it at home, making those types of tweaks to better themselves. And when it gets into the 7th house, they might even push that on their partner. They might push that on you, Taurus, like, yo, look, you eat wild pork chops and I'm not into that shit. Like, what we gonna do about that? You know what I mean? Taurus might be like, well, we get our own frying pans then, because I'm not stopping eating pork chops. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, because that's how stubborn Taurus can be. Like, all right, I hear what you're saying, but I'm not going to be eating black bean burgers because you had an epiphany and now all of a sudden you seen the light. Like, nah, be like, I'm eating chicken cutlets and all that. Like, fall back, boy. So it could be like that. You know what I mean? With Venus being in the sign of Leo as well, there can be some boisterous attitude about that, and very strong in your convictions of saying what it is that you're saying and standing your ground and stating what it is that you're about. You're gonna feel real pride in what it is that you say at that particular point. Well, with it being in the fourth house too, Taurus might take it into consideration because of that. Like if there's something, and I would say if there's something that deals with the vanity, then they might do it. If they say, well, I lose too much weight if I do that, and I got a fat ass, and I'm going to keep my ass, and that's not changing, point blank, period. You want me to lose this ass? You know what I'm saying? They might use that as an argument. You get what I'm saying? And I say that because it's about the fourth house for Taurus. It's about home. And Taurus is like to eat. I know some of y'all be saying in the comment section, we don't always love to eat. I'm glad you don't always say that, but some of y'all do. Some of y'all do. And for those of you that do, this is what will make you consider, what the Pisces might be trying to push on y'all from a relationship standpoint. But if it alters the vanity, the beauty of the Taurus in a negative way, they ain't trying to hear that. You know what I'm saying? And Pisces, you should just be aware of this, accept it, embrace it. Do not try to change that. You're going to have a harder time than you need to have. You know what I mean? And they might even have a point. Now, I know it's kind of like, I'm just speaking from a Pisces perspective. Sometimes that could really mess a Pisces up, is when they find out some knowledge that could really help somebody, and then the persons that they love the most ignore it for their likes and their preferences, and they won't change that about themselves. That could hurt Pisces, y'all. I'm gonna just tell y'all and put it out there. You know what I mean? But here nor there. I said the potential, the possibility is there because Venus is in the fourth house for Taurus, but it's truly still up to them. If you could show them a fun way to prepare it, perhaps, or prepare your black bean burger and let them taste it and see how much of a difference it is. If you could make it banging, they gonna want you to make it all the time though. So I'm gonna just keep it a bean with you on that too. And they're like, oh, this is so good. If you really get them to like it, they'll say, okay, cool, but you gotta make it because I'm not with squishing beans and all that. But Venus is going to move into the fifth house for Taurus and Virgo, which is going to have them discriminative about how they spend their money. All right. So this can come in the form of romance as well. They might not be spending as much money on you, Pisces, and you might have to deal with that, and again, if we go previous to what I've already discussed about y'all's situation during this time, it might be because they're putting some of that money into their gamble, their risk that they're taking, and if y'all communicate with each other, y'all will be able to understand that. You also might want to nudge and poke at your Pisces at this time. Pisces, this might irritate you. You might get mood swings about this because they might be having fun while doing it, but that's just how they are. That's how you two are. I'm not going to say that's how they are. That's how they are with you. Like, they'll joke with you in a kind of like playful manner romantically, but it'll be like criticizing you too. And it's not like low key they hate you, like, you know what I mean? It's in the fifth house. It's fun. You know what I mean? So it's not like that. It's not like it's seventh house stuff and they're just like, it's more fun. It's not a serious base. It's not like they're trying to take you down. So, but that might happen. You know what I mean? And but they're still not going to be a stranger of spending some type of quality time with you during this time when Venus enters the fifth house for them. Let's go into the planet Mars now. So Mars is in Gemini, the sign of Gemini, for 7 months straight. Fourth house for Pisces, second house for Taurus. Now, I think this is a good spot for y'all because y'all can really get into each other's minds and start something new. When I mean something new, I mean not just the same. How should I say this? Not so much based upon the five senses, which Taurus does very well at, and is usually their comfort zone as well. But they can learn something new when Mars is inside of Gemini that can help them financially. So this is why I say it's good, because this might be the actual place where you can get Taurus to change their mind about particular things, as long as there's like a show and prove method, as long as there's a hands-on approach that they can take and benefit from it to the point where they say, you know what, you was right. Even more, if it's something that they can do on their own without you, and still benefit from it. They're going to really enjoy that. They're going to take a liking to that. And there could be a lot of passion going on when connecting these thoughts between you two, right? And it's kind of different because y'all are used to being touchy-feely with each other and all that, being little freaks and stuff. But when the mind gets stimulated to the point where you can do some as above, so below type stuff, and one is not dependent on the other to make that happen, there's more security built inside of the relationship. I know some people be like, no, we do everything together or we do nothing at all. But, and to each his own. But it does have its benefits when a person can strengthen themselves inside of a relationship. Both people, both parties. You know what I mean? Because you could look at each other later on and be like, man, you did come up. You came away, yo. And you could look at your partner and be like, yeah, you did too. You know what I'm saying? I'm proud of you for taking that, being assertive when it came to that particular thing and moving on that idea, taking action on that idea, because that's what we're talking about right now, taking action on ideas, the ideal things too, the things that you've always wanted to do or you thought about doing but you just didn't think that you can do it. Now is the time that you can really lock into that and drive it home, because Mars is an energy that is harnessed. It is to be harnessed, and the more productive you could be during this time, the better your odds are of making some gum stick to the wall. This is going to be more along the lines of being in the home for Pisces. So Pisces could be a homebody. I would say Pisces, as a recommended advice, when you're making moves in this area, to obey the planetary placements right now as far as degrees go. I'll give you an example. Today I had something set up to like go out about the town and do some contractual work, right? And then at the last minute I declined. And the reason why I declined is because I had to shift some money around in order to pay an expense to take this trip, right? And when I did the calculations, and I did the calculations before I set it up, but it's just on this particular day that I actually had to go do it, I got a gut feeling that it was the wrong move to make. It was a wrong calculation. I got anxiety. I felt like I had to be taking action, or I was less of a person. I was less valuable, and that's just a trick on the brain. It's not, because I declined the offer to do it, and I'm still sitting on the same money that I had before I went to do it. So it's not like I'm any broker because of it, if that's a word, or whatever the case may be, or that's how it could be worded. I still got the original money. No, I didn't make the additional money, but when I'm looking at the profit that I would have made from it, and the large expense that I had to make, I'm like, it doesn't even make a difference to me, And the money might be better suited for something else if I even choose to spend it, because, the kickback on it is kind of quick, but maybe not quick enough. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I made that decision. I was like, what can I do during the day besides that? So I just obeyed where my Saturn is at and got to that instead. So look at the degrees of the planets. Mars just entered Gemini, so it's at a rather low degree. So you don't have to submit to that Mars pushing energy if you don't want to. Taurus, the same thing with you. And I say, this is a time that you can learn to work well with others, Taurus. Like, you don't have to be like, oh, I don't fuck with them. You don't always have to do that, Taurus. You know what I'm saying? This could be a time where you could at least utilize people for their ideas and to talk to them. You know what I'm saying? And don't feel like you're using them. We all use each other out here, and we should want to be used. That's the term, right? Useful. You want to be useless. If you want to be useless, that's when you don't talk to anybody. You don't mess with anybody. And if you got it like that to be an island of your own, so be it. I know what that piece can be like, but you got to have the resources to back that shit up. You know what I mean? And if you don't, and you, like, prior to this point, you trying to do other stuff, take gambles, take risks, make investments somewhere else because you want a better work-life environment, whatever the case may be. Y'all got 8th house stuff going on where y'all can get different types of financial assets and vehicles moving to do some greater stuff between you two. Then this is the opportunity where you should open up to other people's ideas and thoughts and speak with them, Taurus. So let's get into Jupiter. Jupiter is retrograde, and it's in the sign of Aries for the both of y'all, right? Now, Jupiter's in the 2nd house for Pisces. It's in the 12th house for you, Taurus. So Taurus, for you, you could be doing you could benefit from philosophy. All right. Now, this is the place where you can actually see where things that you normally are attached to or like to do may not be all it is to life. It may not be all it is to your recipe, to your formula. Something outside of what you normally do could potentially catapult you into an area that you want to be. But it's something that you got to look at and find out of how you've viewed these types of things before, so that you can alter your mind state to see what it is that you can do that. And again, it might have something to deal with how you communicate and work well with others, because Jupiter is expansive, and in order to expand, you need either more resources or you need more people. A lot of the times it comes with both, but it's definitely going to be one or the other, right? So you might have to internalize what your thoughts are about money. Is there different types of forms of money, or is it just cash on hand? I know Tauruses that like cash more than anything. They don't care how much crypto technology stuff is going on. They like, man, put the cash in my hand, because I can feel it. It's tangible. I know it's really here, So but you might want to revisit that idea and say, well, there is crypto. It is another lane. It's risky, but it is still nonetheless considered money in a lot of areas now. Might want to take a second look at that. You might want to take a look at money in the form of people, assets, or human capital, should I say, right? Human capital, people who have higher educations and they've been in this industry for 5 years and they know a lot about tech, and you just happen to know them, but you don't ever pick their brain about tech. You pick their brain about smoking a blunt with them or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Something that's social, but not social enough to pry into them to find out what it is that they do, or show more interest into what it is that they do. When in all actuality, that could put you in a different place in life. They might be more of an acquaintance. They could become a friend instead of an acquaintance. Now, this could be your Pisces lover. You know what I mean? But the form of how this may happen for you may be in a more isolated manner, to where you're kind of being sneaky about it. So Pisces, pay attention to what I'm saying right now, because if the Taurus is being sneaky about how they're going about getting this upgraded knowledge, so to speak, in order to enhance themselves and be better, get bigger, then this is something I advise you let them do, because it's more in a spiritual sense. And you know how material they can be, or focus on the five senses that Taurus can be. So this could be something new for them, or something where they can renew themselves, rather, right? And discard some of the stuff that doesn't serve a purpose in their life, in order to get some type of, spiritual download that can do better things for them. As a 12th houser by nature, Pisces, you should understand this and respect this energy and let it be. That's just my opinion. You do what you want to do, though, because nonetheless, it's still Aries energy, and you might feel like you have to butt in it and put your 2 cents in it and stuff like that. But like I say about Aries energy in general, like, be your own general. Stop pushing yourself on other people. Let them do their thing when Aries energy is wherever it's at. You don't have to be the commander of chief of what they're doing. Be your own commander in chief. That's why it's a solo act. That's why Mars, Aries, y'all are solo energies. It's a solo act. Fall back, boy. You know what I mean? Girl, whoever. You know what I'm saying? But I'm for real, because you can do more harm than help. And people can feel that force when it's being forced on them. It's just like, yo, I'm trying to do something for myself. You understand? Can I do that? Like, chill. And it might be different. Again, it might be different. So your 12th house of Pisces, you should know that. Now, Taurus, you should mind your business too when Pisces is internalizing their money situation, their money scheme. You know what I mean? Because I know you like money and all that, but Pisces may be looking at this whole money thing in a way that utilizes philosophy too. There's large debates about economics and the future of money, and what's gig economies, and the term of you will own nothing and be happy. And I'm not saying what's wrong and what's right, but with all of these concepts in the air and the ability to actually consider them, being that we're in this breakaway society now, this breakaway workplace, it would do more help than harm to actually look into these things, because if a shift can be made financially and it appreciates when it comes to your Pisces, just imagine the things or the better lifestyle that y'all could have together. So remember, he's got some eighth house thing going on with Venus anyway, which is the lower benefit, right? Moving into Mercury, going into the eighth house of Libra. So the thought process is already there, is what my point is. You know what I'm saying? So this may be an ample time for the Pisces to capitalize off of thinking in that type of way. So utilizing philosophy when it comes to Jupiter may be something that could benefit the both of you and stuff like that. So let's get into Saturn. Lastly, Saturn is retrograde as well for the both of you in the sign of Aquarius. For Pisces, it's in the 12th house. For Taurus, it's in the 10th house. So, Taurus, you can actually use the internet to become bigger than you already are. You can use it as a focal point for people to look at you and pay attention to you. I don't know what it is you're going to be doing on the internet. It's not mine to say, but you have the ability to get something going on there. And this is not just now, this is forever. It's up to you though. You know what I'm saying? But now would be the time for you to work on this thing. And it's not, you should consider practicing patience when it comes to this, because Saturn is doing the diligent work, but it's also not immediate rewards. It's no instant gratification here. It's put the work in, set it down, do something else, because you're going to run into an obstacle or something that, somebody's not going to email you back quick enough. Somebody's not going to bust a move for you that you want immediately to see where this can go, because you want to see results, and you might get discouraged from that. But I'm telling you how Saturn operates, so you don't have to reach that point. Put the work in. When you reach the obstacle, leave it alone, go do something else. It's going to come back to you. And it's simpler to come back to you with the internet, because you can create something, put it in your hard drive, put it in your software, put it in your drive, upload it to the internet, let it sit like this video. People are going to see this 2 months from now, and I'm doing this video right now. I'm going to benefit from it 2 months from now. I'm going to reap what I sow. It's just like, you got to be able to be conscious about this type of stuff and still do the work without seeing instant gratification, instant results. You know what I'm saying? So that's where Saturn is at for you. You could benefit as a career from this. So again, I don't know what it is that you'll be doing internet-wise. And if it's not internet-wise, maybe you sell electronics. Maybe you pick up old electronics, refurbish them, and sell them on eBay. You know what I mean? It could be somewhere along the lines of that. Maybe you are in the aviation. You want to go to flight school and you want to build planes or something. You know what I'm saying? This is not far-fetched, but I'm just telling you things that are related to Aquarius, the sign Aquarius, that can benefit you career-wise. You know what I mean? And you don't have to go it alone, because Aquarius is a gregarious sign, right? It's about bringing people together and uniting them. Now, it might be segmented in some type of way, but nonetheless, people could still come on the same accord and look for the objective truths that are accumulated or that could be found in this thing that you're doing, and still respect the differences and say, okay, well, that's their truth, that's your truth, this is my truth. We could still come to an understanding. We could agree to disagree, whatever the case may be. And you can become an authoritative figure when doing this. Meet other authoritative figures, and that other authoritative figure could be your Pisces as well, because Saturn is still in Aquarius for their 12th house, but it's still Saturn, right? An authoritative figure. And Pisces is going to be doing work more along the lines of expansion, but different type of expansion. So Aquarius is like expanding as well, right? Getting more people involved. Pisces, or the 12th house, should I say, is like that too, but it's on a monumental scale that blurs the lines. So where Aquarius is more segmented and it draws the lines of differences between people, The 12th house is going to blur those lines and say, you know what, y'all could disagree and agree and all that all you want, but this is just all one. We're all woven together. We're all connected, and we should just love each other based upon that. And I know it's a tough pill to swallow, but it's like, yo, if you do enough diligent work in that area, which Pisces is going to be doing right now, you'll understand how it'll make sense, you know? Now, whether you two communicate on that, it'll be a big thing, you know? Because if y'all do, y'all can see where y'all are authoritative figures in that area. Things that deal with astrology as well, because Aquarius rules over astrology. So if y'all into that, talk about that, get into that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all might want to make plans based upon astrological data. You know what I mean? You might be more confident in that and be like, well, yo, can't we just like predict something that's going to work out better for us using astrology? Yeah. You know what I mean? So that's what I got for y'all, B. Get in the comment section. Let me know how y'all feel about that. And if you need any extensive advice, piggybacking off of that. All right, I'm out.